Hello, myself Karthik, and hello everyone at R2. And I know two people, Kaushik and Samir, with whom I've been interacting with mail. And I don't know what to call this as an assignment or a test, and this would have come up with. This app is called Roomie Expense Manager, and basically used for roomies to manage their expenses. And I've made few selections with respect to the technologies. One is using Redis database. Redis is an in-memory database. Why Redis? Because that is extremely fast, because it stores the data in its RAM, and accessing data from RAM is too faster than what that can be from hard drive. And the database was very simple. That actually made the job very tough. It would have been 10 times an easier job if I were to not use Redis, and using SQL or MongoDB would have been an easier task. And again, the objective was given that I'm supposed to use a chat room for entering the expenses. That actually, these two things actually made the app very complicated than what I had expected, and I took 3-4 more days than what I had earlier planned of completing it. And here's the app. In the app's root folder, there is a file called add.roomie.js, wherein the guy who's running the app in his system using it as a server adds or deletes the valid users. And I'll show more about that file. And there's this folder called test. In the test folder, all the tests for the application is written. I'll just run all the tests now. Mocha is used as a testing framework. Yep, make this all test passing. 39 tests has been written to test all the core APIs. And there are a few prerequisites to successfully run the app. One, you got to have Redis server running in the background. So we'll just check out whether Redis is running. Yep, Redis server is running in the background. Redis server and Redis client. Make sure that these two processes are running in the background before you try running the program. I assume that Node and all the required modules for the Node is installed in your system. Let's run the application. It's Node and app.js. Yep. I'm dumping a lot of things into the database, and a lot of console.logs to test the application, how the control flow is going, and I didn't undo that after completing the application. I hope you guys don't mind that. And let me go to the browser now. Yeah. The server is running on the port 3000, the default port of any Express application, unless you change it. Yeah, we got the login page, and without logging in, it's impossible to visit any route of the applications. So to be able to visit any route of the application, you should log in. And there is no user registration here. I could have done, but I thought let me keep this simple. There is a file called in the server. The file name is add.roomie.js, and any roomie, if he were to be part of the application, his name is supposed to be added here. So username is a JSON file, username and his actual name, username, actual name fields, and mail and his mail ID. And this mail ID, which is been stored in this file, will be used as password. Currently we have 4 users, as you can see. One is Raf, Ayer, Samir and Rohit, and with their respective email IDs. And to add these users to database, the flag should be true. And once these users are added, and you can set it to false so that you don't add it again and again every time the server starts. And once you again make a change with respect to the number of roomies, or any of the existing roomies go out or new roomies come in, just set the flag false again. So we'll do everything from scratch now, and let me set the flag to true, and I'll restart the server again. Yep, you can see the console.log telling all old user database splitted and new users added successfully. And let me refresh the page. Yep. Username Rob and mail ID is cartronics85@yahoo.com, and the username and the email ID is supposed to be stored in add.roomie.js file in the server, and any name and ID which is not present in the file will not be allowed to log in. And let me log in now. Yep, this is the home screen of the application, and wherein you got all the links which application gives to you, and here's a button where you can view the project on GitHub. And this is the link for my blog, and if you guys could like it, and I'd be really happy to see the notification maybe next time I log in. And let me go to expenses now and see what are the expenses that's been done by Roomies. Oh yeah, no expenses now, all the expenses are settled, and the settlement too, all the expenses are settled. So let me go back to home now. And yes, welcome Rob to Roomies. It's like, giving a welcome message. And let me start sharing with my Roomies now. You can either click this button or you can click this link too. So anyone who got connected now, or LAN or even via Wi-Fi, they could come to this particular link and start chatting with each other. And I'll just send few messages. Hey guys, what's up? So let me open another browser and log in as a different user and start using the application. Okay. From the Firefox browser, I'm logging in as a different user. I'm logging in as Samir here, and with email ID of Samir. What's the ID? What I've given? Samir at r2.in. Yep, Samir at. Then there is a front-end validation too. I'm using jQuery validation for that. Unless you haven't given the right format of any email, you'll get a info on how strongly it is using the application. And it's Samir at r2.in is what I have stored in the file. Ta-da, here it is. Yeah, I'm logged in as Samir now. And let me to start chatting now. So on Firefox I've logged in as Samir, and on Chrome I've logged in as Rav. Okay, now Rav got a message telling that Samir entered the chat room, and let me start sharing. Hey Samir, what's up? Okay, I'll go back to Firefox, and Samir gets the message. Hey Samir, what's up by Rav? And let me say something to Rav as Samir. Now Samir, invites me to go out for a coffee. Yep. Yeah, I got a notification by Samir telling Rav what say we'll go out for coffee. And now we had coffee and we came back, and we are sharing the expenses. And we have 4 roomies now: myself, Samir, Iyer, and Rohit. So if you enter the message in this particular format, the format is like this: rupees followed by amount, amount, and paid by colon of who paid the bill. So that's just 1,000. Assume Samir is a rich guy and paid 1,000 rupees for a coffee, took us to an amazing place for a coffee, and paid by Samir. And forward for having an expensive coffee. Ta-da. Okay, now follows the format rupees colon 1000 paid by colon Samir for colon having an expensive coffee. We'll just share this. So as you see now, this isn't displayed as a normal message, and this is taken as an expense alert, and you see then expense alert in light yellow color. If not any message in this format, it will be taken as an usual chat message and it won't be considered special now. Now we've added the expenditure, and let's go and see whether this are shown in the expense tab. If you go to the expenses tab, yeah, we go to table which describing the expenses made amount 1000. Why? Having an expensive coffee paid by Samir and the date when it was happened. And let me go to the settlement button. This clearly tells what is the money to be paid by a roomie to the other roomies. So here's the audit of Samir. Samir has to get back 250 from Rav, and he has to get back 250 from Iyer, has to get back 250 from Rohit, and here's the audit of Iyer. Iyer's course is settled with Rav and Rohit, but he has to pay 250 to Samir. Similarly, Rohit has to pay 250 to Samir and Rav has to pay 250 to Samir. So let me go to Samir's tab now. Yeah, even Samir has got an alert expense. So we'll assume that I pay for the dinner now. Again, an expensive place for dinner. Believe that we visit such a place, and the cost would be 2000 for the dinner. So rupees 2000 paid by colon. So rupees colon amount space paid by colon. If you add an invalid name, paid by Naveen. Naveen is not in the list of roomies. And for dinner, let's see what happens. Yeah, you got an expense alert, but invalid roomie. Naveen is not one among the roomies, so you cannot add an invalid roomie's name. So we'll add it again. Rupees 2000 is paid by Rav for dinner. Yep, it's invalid expense message, and expenditure of rupees 2000 incurred and paid by roomie Rav for dinner. Let's go to the expenses tab. Yeah, the expenses tab very clearly sums up all the expenses that's been done, and let's go to the settlement tab. Yeah, this is interesting now. Now, after the earlier expenses, again, all the modification is done on the amount that's supposed to be paid amidst the roomies, and this is how the current account goes now. All the expenses, to be paid is in red, and if you're supposed to get back money, you'll have it in green. If scores are settled, you'll have it in yellow. So this is the audit of Samir. Samir's got to pay 250 to Rav and has to get back 250 from Iyer and 250 from Rohit. And Samir has to, Iyer has to pay 500 to Rav and Iyer has to pay 250 to Samir, but his scores are settled with Rohit. So similarly, Rav has to get back 500 from Iyer, 500 from Samir and 500 from Rohit. So we can clear and settle all the expenses by clicking on settle expenses button. We'll just take that out. Yep, it asks you whether you really want to clear all the expenses, so that by mistake you don't clear out all the list of expenses. Okay, yep, all expenses settled now. Let me go to the expenses tab. Yep, all expenses are settled now, and start chatting again and start sharing again. I could have had a lot of policies in place, like maybe 30% is paid by one roomie, 20% is paid by other roomie, and as I told that any billions of numbers of policies can be put in place once the mechanism is ready. And I believe for the mechanism what I've built now, any policy can be implemented, and I've implemented only few policies in place, and to just keep it simple, and just to name a few more policies what that can be implemented, I can have user jQuery UI, and wherein we have a slider to set what is the percentage of expense that's shared by a particular roomie, or even I can use D3.js to visualize the amount which is to be paid by each roomies, and a lot of such interesting things and policies can be put in place. And this is all from my side, and I hope that this is good enough and you guys find it cool. I'll be really happy to be part of R2, and even otherwise, if not, I've had great time coding this off from past 10 days. I'm really thankful for giving this idea, or you call this assignment, and had really amazing time doing this from past 10 days or a week. And if not, I would have spent all my time reading PDFs without implementing much, and this was a pleasurable time. Thank you very much. I'm hoping to get feedback, at least feedback from you guys, which could help me be better on understand me, what is the issues I create when I develop in applications. I'm sure that there should be a lot of issues too, and be really helpful, and I'll be glad to you guys if you can point out and tell me how to be a better coder and do a better job than what I've done now. That's what my intention is. Thank you very much.